this is not the first time, Dan, that we've heard Harry going MIA and Harry staying at hotels and Harry avoiding Meghan's calls. And it looked like that they were heading for a divorce.
Breaking right now, the British MSM might be deciding to propagate Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's ludicrous messages, might decide that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are the good guys and Prince William and King Charles are the enemy. But amazingly, it's the formerly woke American mainstream media that are reporting the truth. Look at this exclusive from Radar Online, revealing feelings inside the royal family about Harry and Meghan's so-called peace talks and describing the pair as broke, begging con artists. And trust me, that is how people within the royal family really feel about Harry and Meghan. We'll get analysis from According to Taz in just one moment. But first, let me take you through this new reporting. Prince Harry is being accused of returning to the UK with a begging bowl. By the way, Matthew Acton, who's written this article, British-based, used to work with me at the News of the World. Very, very well-sourced on the royal family. So he reports Prince Harry being accused of returning to the UK with a begging bowl following the collapse of the Sussex's $100 million Netflix deal. But royal insiders suggested the motivation may be more financial than familial, following a string of failed media ventures and rising costs associated with their lavish Montecito lifestyle. Our source said, the feeling is the Sussexes are on the grift again and having their begging bowl out to King Charles to save them. They really are like a pair of con artists and not very good ones. Tash, I was like, hallelujah. Hallelujah, because this is what I'm hearing, Tash. This is how people really within the royal family feel about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Not the way that it's being portrayed in the British mainstream media at the moment, who are desperately trying to rehabilitate them. Sure, Charles feels a bit of sympathy, but trust me, Tash, he doesn't want to give these two grifters any money. That's his biggest worry. And they do have the begging bowl out. They may not have asked, but why the hell did they start these peace talks if it wasn't about money? Big news. Outspoken is now available as a podcast too. So please do subscribe wherever you get yours, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and make sure you rate and review. I'll take 5 stars, if you may.
I think this is the truest article really that's come out. I think with all of the talk about Harry wants peace, Harry wants to share his diary. No, I believe that Harry has gone there. Well, not Harry himself, obviously, but he sent his staff. And I think it is all to do with money. We recently found out about Netflix. We know that they've lost all of their other big contracts. Even Lemonada were not interested in having season 2 of a female founder because, of course, it was another boring snore fest with Meghan loving the sound of her own voice. But this is the thing with it that drives me insane. Like, you're seeing the complete, it's like the Twilight Zone. We're seeing the American media actually calling it out. And then we're seeing the British media now trying to gaslight everybody that Harry wants peace. He doesn't. I believe it's all to do with finances, which is a bloody cheek in itself when you think the millions that he left the royal family with. He turned 40, and I believe that he came into some more money in the investments that he would have had that money put into over the years. And then, of course, Charles was still giving them millions, despite Harry's lies on Oprah. Millions! What the average person could do with 1 million. And Harry has had lots of them also given to him.
Even since moving. That's the point. People forget that all the time, Tash. Thank you for raising it. People forget he did support them. He did say, I'll support you while you get on your feet. But they are very well and truly on their feet now. They are the ones that have decided to overstretch themselves in terms of their lifestyle. And Charles should absolutely not be having to fund it for a single second. But Tash, I was most shocked this week about the fact that, again, Charlotte Griffiths, I think, buried the lead in terms of her reporting, because the most shocking story for me was the fact that Harry just went missing in Africa for 3 days, totally off grid in Botswana, with this woman, TJ, who, you know, is described as TJ Evans, who's described as like a mother-like figure. But this was bizarre. No contact with Meghan, no contact with the kids whatsoever, no worries about security concerns. You posted on this, Tash. It makes you wonder. Harry secretly disappeared to Botswana. Meghan's not posted for weeks on Instagram. The sudden need to connect with his father. This can mean only one thing. Meghan will shortly be making an appearance, telling the world they are more in love than ever. Because, of course, this does not suggest that things are at all rosy, Tash, in the marriage.
No, it doesn't. But we have had moments like this before. As I said, this is not the first time, Dan, that we've heard Harry going MIA and Harry staying at hotels and Harry avoiding Meghan's calls. And it looked like that they were heading for a divorce. I think it was at some point last year. And then, of course, we got the super duper loved up photographs of the couple, them kissing and canoodling when they went to Colombia. Then we had the Invictus Games where Meghan used the Invictus Games as a platform to show the world that they were more in love than ever before. So they do have these dips, whether they've come back round again and this is a genuine dip, or perhaps with Meghan, this is just another opportunity. She's working with a whole new PR team. What we'll do is we'll make it out so everybody starts thinking that apparently this is going to be the end, and then we'll come back and then we'll show the world that we're a united family. Or perhaps there's one person, I can't remember the name, they spoke to me on Twitter. They said perhaps Harry and Meghan are now trying to trick the royal family that they're breaking up, so Harry could get his foot back into the door and then it would be, surprise, we're back together, everybody. I mean, who knows with these two? We always know that they're plotting and planning something, and we know above all else they're very duplicitous.
Yeah, absolutely they are. But divorce is on Meghan's mind this week, with no doubt, after the bombshell news about the end of Jessica Mulroney's marriage. And of course, this will have hit her hard, Tash, because, I mean, this was her best friend. It absolutely was her best friend. Jessica Mulroney's daughter, Ivy, was a member of Meghan Markle's wedding party, of course, alongside Princess Charlotte. And yes, their friendship ended after the Black Lives Matter incident when, you know, she quite stupidly, probably, Jessica Mulroney tried to use, I guess, her relationship with Meghan to try and get out of this public apology, which I don't think she should ever had to give. She wrote to the woman who was making these unfair accusations about her, "I told you privately, I have lived a very public and personal experience with my closest friend where race was front and center. It was deeply educational. I learned a lot from that. I promise to continue to learn and listen on how I can use my privilege to elevate and support Black voices." Now, you would have thought, Tash, even though I think it's awful she felt she had to do that, you would have thought that Meghan Markle and people on the Black Lives Matter side of the argument would have been happy with that. But of course they weren't. She was completely and utterly ditched. But the fact that this relationship is over, this marriage is over, really significant in Meghan's world, because of course Jessica Mulroney's husband Ben was the one in the high society, was the one connected to the Canadian elite. And so Meghan is of course going to be looking at what happens here and thinking, well, is this a game plan for me after my marriage ends? I mean, and it's also very difficult, isn't it, when a best friend who you have ghosted goes through something like this and actually you can't be there for them. So put it this way, with all of that going on, divorce is on Meghan's mind.
I agree with you. I do agree that she's definitely thought about it from the moment she got that first ring on her finger, Dan. I don't believe, this is my personal beliefs, I do not believe she married Harry for love. She married him for fame, for status, and for money. And she's got that, but it is beginning to dwindle now. She's lost that royal sparkle. She's milked that cow for all it's worth, as it were. And a divorce would be financially beneficial to her. With regards to Jessica Mulroney, Mulroney was Meghan's first major successful social climb. She charmed Jessica, she got in with the Trudeaus, and you can see, like a spider spinning its web, Meghan really learned how to network. And I think it was very sad in a way how Meghan could just cut Jessica off like that, but Meghan has done this to her own father. So I don't think it's anything new with Meghan. She has a history of trampling over people to get to what she wants. But the fact that it was also called out that Meghan had been shopping around for a divorce book to see what sort of payout she could get for it. I mean, that must have been, I think that was in one of the big reveals. That might have even been Vanity Fair, wasn't it, earlier in the year, where someone outed her for shopping around for a divorce book. That must have been playing on Harry's mind. It must be sitting there in the back thinking, well, maybe my wife, doesn't love me as much as she says. I mean, who shops round for a divorce book payout? But yes, I do believe that she would probably be watching the fallout from Jessica Mulroney, but not because she cares about Jessica. I think she's made that very clear. The fact that she threw her to the wolves completely.
Totally. Oh, no, I completely agree. And it's also about, what does this mean for me? Like, this marriage that did so much for Jessica Mulroney, that changed the shape of her life, it's over. Where does she go now? She's sort of been cancelled. Meghan is cancelled in a different sort of way. So what does it mean for me? Tash, you have also this week suggested, because there's a lot of speculation that Prince Harry is talking about this new book, and you have suggested that there is potentially some threats and blackmailing going on, posting on X. So Harry has hinted that he has enough material for Spare 2.0. He revealed that he has evidence that will shock the public as it was so damaging. Do we think that Harry will resort to blackmailing his family, because he has certainly been dropping some threats? Well, Tash, let me put your own question to you. What do you think?
I do. I believe that Harry's motivations for suddenly trying to speak to his father, whether it's through aid, this whole gesture, which really wasn't about sharing his diary arrangements, I believe that financially he's now concerned. I believe that he needs either access to the royal family so he can sell more stories, or he's after money. I don't believe, as I said earlier, that Harry wants to make amends with his family at all. Otherwise, he wouldn't continuously attack them. But he has dropped some serious threats. He has said that he had more than enough for a second. I think he even said a second and third book. He has said that, I know that my family would never, my entire family would never forgive me if I did another book. But I think that ship sailed long ago. But he did say again, it was only May that he found evidence so shocking and so damaging in that court case, bearing in mind his whole interview was to do with the royal family, the royal household. So it's clearly obvious that he means in something to do with his family. It was so damaging and damning that it would shock the public. So yes, I do think that Harry has been dropping thinly veiled threats, the same as Meghan does when she speaks. She'll say something like, I just want people to tell the truth about me. It's all things like that. These two have never stopped throwing barbs at the royal family, and these little threats. Meghan did weeks before the Queen died in the Cut magazine. She was still saying something word salady about her song hasn't been sung yet and she could continue to speak if she chooses to. These two are all about the threats, and I think they're getting desperate financially, and I think that they would definitely plot something as far as blackmail towards the royal family.
Indeed. I mean, nothing can be ruled out now, unfortunately, with them. Nothing can be ruled out. Look what they did, Tash. When people say to me, oh, no, you're going too far. Do you know my response? Look at what they did, Tash, when money was no object to them. Look at what they did when they still had the support of the Hollywood establishment, of the woke elite. Exactly. So what are they going to do, Tash, when they're desperate, when they have no money? When they need to earn in order to stay in the Montecito mansion and pay for the security and pay for the private jets? That's when the desperation is going to come out. And of course, there's desperation around the Netflix deal too, because I knew this was going to happen. It was so predictable. You know, I've been reporting Netflix wanted out of this deal since mid-2023. It had been very frustrating to see all of the mainstream media go down a very different path, but I understand why it happened, because Meghan was saying, well, look, we've shot the second series. Look, Netflix is my partner in as ever. And I was always warning, even back then, look, she's going to try and get out of this by saying, oh, no, there's a new deal to be done and it's a first look deal. And, you know, just the economies of the industry have changed. And of course, Tash, this week, Charlotte Griffiths, the new Sussex propagandist who did put that out there. So this was her spin delivered via GB News. But first, something really important to talk to you about. Scammers and spammers who are out there to ruin your life. We've all experienced more and more of those spam emails, text messages, and robo phone calls. Not only are they annoying and really time-consuming to deal with, but they usually represent a gross invasion of your private information that can cause vast reputational and financial damage. And I mean, how the heck did they get your information in the first place? Well, it's likely as a result of data brokers who know everything about you, your health information, relationship status, mortgage details, so much more actually, and then sell it for a profit. These data brokers can directly or indirectly expose sensitive information to bad actors, putting you at risk of identity theft. The number of data breaches worldwide rises every year. According to the annual data breach report by the Identity Theft Resource Center, it actually went up by 72% in 2023. This means that you and your loved ones are at a constantly increasing risk of data breaches as growing lists of data brokers hold your personal information. That is then being sold or published online without you even knowing about it. Let me tell you how shocking the consequences can be. Health insurance companies could actually raise your rates based on your online activity. Huge loans have been taken under people's names without them even knowing about it. And scammers have even started to use AI to, wait for it, mimic the voices of friends and family to trick victims into sending them money. These imposter scams rely entirely on the voice data they can find online. While you can ask these data brokers to delete your personal information, the process takes hundreds of hours to do manually and requires repetition. But the good news is that today I have a solution for you that I use and personally endorse. Go to incogni.com/outspoken and get 60% off an annual plan. Now, Incogni reaches out to data brokers on your behalf, requests your personal data removal, and handles any objections from their side. The whole process is automated, ensuring that your data stays off the market by conducting repeated removals and taking your data down if it pops up again. That's what makes the yearly subscription especially advantageous. Now, I do the annual plan so that I'm constantly being taken off these lists. It truly is a simple process. Create an account, grant Incogni the right to work for you, and they will contact the data brokers on your behalf to request your personal data removal. It has helped me so much. You can go to incogni.com/outspoken and get 60% off. That's 60% off an annual plan right now. It could be the most important decision you make. But now, back to the show.
Deal at the moment. I don't think she's going to get another $100 million deal, that is for sure. And I don't even think it will be particularly television related, although there is one more series of her show with Love Meghan due to come out. But that's only because it was filmed already with the first one. But anyway, long story short, the Netflix deal actually isn't over completely. It's being renegotiated at the moment. But they've all signed NDAs, so it hasn't come out. So I think those that don't like Meghan will be disappointed to hear.
Well, I, for one...
She's still going strong.
Yeah.
Nancy Sidley had an interesting take on this, Tash. She said Netflix is just trying to get first dibs on the post-divorce show. Something's coming. But I mean, I just think this is face-saving. Honestly, it's face-saving on both parts. And it's because Netflix, right, it's just no skin off their nose. Like a first look deal is nothing, right? Like there's no financial commitment. There's nothing they really have to do. And of course, I've always been pointing out, Meghan has leveraged this personal friendship with Ted Sarandos because of his black wife. And that's why she was able to get out of this. But the fact, Tash, that they took so long to come back with any form of rebuttal, They allowed the story to run on all of their favored media outlets last week, including People magazine. It's like, this was just so weak. It was so weak. And of course, the proof will be in the pudding as well. Because actually, just before I get you to weigh in, Tash, I wanted to show you what Meghan Markle previously said about the Netflix deal when she was on that Variety red carpet, because it just shows you how she lies. Because she said, there's so much on the slate, we just can't announce it yet. Watch this.
What you're doing now. You have now come into Hollywood in a producerial capacity. What is inspiring you? And as you're kind of looking to make these new projects, what is the thing that is, driving the work that you're going to put out into the business?
Things that make people feel, I was going to say good, but it's more than that. Things that make people feel something, right? And feel a sense of community. But we have so many exciting things on the slate. I can't wait until we can announce them. But I'm just really proud of what we're creating. My husband is loving it too. It's really fun.
We're here anytime you want to make those announcements.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. We'll get in touch then. Yeah.
We're thrilled to have you here as one of our honorees, our alumni.
Tash,
so nice to see you.
It's great to be
Thank
Tash, of course, none of those announcements ever came. Because there was nothing on the slate. She's just a liar. This is all just lies and spin.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the fact that she's talking about we're making content that will make you feel. Polo made me feel like I wanted to change the channel. What else did Live to Lead? That made me want to go to sleep. I didn't even make it after the first, I think, 5 minutes. And I just thought, I just can't do this. I just can't face it. And Meghan's, with Love Meghan famously, that really made me feel. It made me want to laugh out loud. It made me want to vomit. It made me want to throw something at the TV. I mean, she's so ridiculous every time they talk about everything that they're going to do at Netflix. I remember when they first announced the deal, they were only the many deals, they were only going to work with grassroots organizations. They had all of these big things that were planned. And the only successful thing they ever did was completely attacking the royal family. And Netflix, it's very clear, like you said, that they've had such a weak response. You think if they really cared about Meghan and trying to really push her still, they would have done more of a clap back saying, shutting down the rumors of the deal and things like that. The fact that Meghan has said that they are a partner of her As Ever brand, why would they be announcing or allowing it to be announced so early that she's basically being dropped from her huge contract? That's not going to do their partnership that great if they are concerned with selling Meghan's merchandise. But as many people did report, it was the final nail in the coffin for them, because they know that Meghan's been outed for selling white label goods. They are made by other people, other companies, for other companies. She just sticks her label on it and makes a ridiculous amount of profit. And the wine just did not sell. It did eventually sell out, but that's because, like everything, it was a tiny batch. Meghan bigs up everything that she does, but time and time again, she never comes through with anything. She never has the goods at the end of it.
Ever. Well, look, Link Lauren, our friend, on his brilliant podcast, Spot On, had a very good take on this whole Netflix debacle.
Meghan and Harry talked Netflix into licensing this book, and the book was called Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. Now, they allegedly talked Netflix into spending $3 million licensing and optioning this book to turn into a film, some type of programming on Netflix that Harry and Meghan were going to produce. And Meghan Markle couches herself as this Hollywood maven and genius and this wicked, incredible wizard producer, even though she has no qualifications whatsoever and was never very successful in Hollywood. So they optioned this book and it goes nowhere. It was just reported in Page 6 on the New York Post in an exclusive, no director, no producer. It's sitting around collecting dust. Of course, Netflix is pissed, right? Netflix, all these streamers, they're trying to make money. It's a very competitive environment. When they're spending a couple million here, a couple million there, and Harry and Meghan are doing nothing, they've spent millions licensing this book. I haven't read the book. Maybe it's a good book. Might be great. Maybe I'll put it on the reading list when I take a vacation in about 5 years. But until then, I won't be reading it. But they licensed the book for millions of dollars. Harry and Meghan don't want to do anything. Meghan always jumps from one passion project to the next, right? She wants to do a clothing line. Then she wants to sell jams, jellies, and dog biscuits. Then she's going to do this show. And then she's going to do a blog. And then she's going to do this. It's manic. It's manic for Meghan Markle. Manic Meghan. Let's call her Manic Meghan because she changes what she wants to do in her career every day. She came out with the jams and jellies and as ever, and then now she says she's not going to restock till next year and she might want to do the clothing line. Who does that? Who does that? She names the brand American Riviera Orchard, then she changes it at the last minute. Then she changes it to this. It's too freaking much. It's manic and it's crazy. And I think the crux of the issue is that she actually doesn't want to work. I think Meghan Markle just doesn't want to work. She wants to twerk. She wants to get millions of dollars to sit around her mansion in Montecito and not really do anything. And she doesn't have that hustle mentality that even the Kardashians and Kris Jenner have. Because I look at Meghan and Harry now as sort of reality stars like the Kardashians, but the Kardashians know how to hawk their products. They know how to build Skims and those brands and good American jeans. Meghan Markle doesn't have that. She doesn't have that magic touch, and she's not very likable, right? She's not likable to almost any audience.
I mean, I thought that was such good analysis. Tash,
yeah,
manic Meghan. I could see that coming on because it's so true. She does stick to nothing.
She sticks to nothing and she jumps from one project to the next because Meghan only likes the short burst of attention that she gets. So this is why she's constantly going from one project to the next. It's not because she cares about the project. It's not because she wants to work hard. It's because when she comes up with something new, she gets to appear in a magazine. She gets to have another photo shoot. Someone might put a microphone, Lord help us all, in front of her to talk about her new project. And then she can talk about how fabulous and how excited she is and what she's actually going to do. And then she's like, okay, I'm bored now. I'm on to the next thing. She is like a child. Link obviously smashed it out of the park, and he's perfect with his analogy of Meghan. She is completely manic, and it's because she doesn't care about any of the projects. She's only wanting the flash in the pan, the attention, the photo shoots, perhaps an opportunity to pick up another accolade, certainly an appearance on a red carpet. She just wants to see her name in lights, and that's why she flits from one thing to the next, because she doesn't care about anything or anyone other than herself.
I did also see this. I'd missed it first time around, Tash. I'm going to admit, because I did a whole show on her podcast, awful podcast with Emma Grede, and it was awful. But I had missed this particular moment where she made it really clear that she wasn't comfortable with Emma Grede asking her a question about how she was going to promote the Netflix deal. I found it really fascinating watching just this tiny little clip, Tash, and sort of like, you see the anger she has when she says, no, I'm not comfortable talking about
business. You need to go out and promote it. You need to go and do, whatever it is that you might need to do. Speak to the media, turn up at a retailer convention, like whatever it might be.
You set boundaries of where you're comfortable, and it's okay to say no. It's okay to say, I'm not comfortable answering that.
Oh, Tash, it's so telling, isn't it? It's okay to say, I'm not comfortable asking that. Shut up. Don't expose me, Emma Grede. Really interesting. I hadn't picked up on it before.
Yeah, I mean, I again, like anything with Meghan, I can't watch the whole thing. But yeah, that almost... Yeah, there were a couple of points in that interview where you can see her jaw locks. You can see when Meghan's not happy about something, her eye contact shifts, it changes. She has a mask slip. You can see the jawline. She no longer looks friendly and approachable and smiley. She's basically like, listen, you perfect photographs here. You can just see this definite side to her where she's like, I'm not in control right now. I don't like where this is going. Her ideal sort of podcast was the Jamie Kern-Lever one, where, they were just nodding and smiling and telling each other how fabulous that they are, because Meghan was lapping up the adoration from her friend who was like a starstruck child talking to her. Emma Grede is an actual businesswoman, is a successful businesswoman, has a successful podcast. And much like when Meghan mentioned Serena in it, you could tell there's an element of it where Meghan doesn't even stand up to the success that the woman who's interviewing her does. And I think it really starts to seep through. She cannot handle strong, powerful, direct women.
Big time. Tash, so well put. And of course, everything we've been talking about today is absolute reason to sign up to the According to Taz YouTube channel, where you get the analysis that you simply will not from the mainstream media, which you cannot trust anymore. And I would also love you to sign up to my Substack too, because that means you get first access to the Royal Uncancelled After Show Monday to Friday, completely advertising free as well, by the way. www.outspoken.live is the address. You get the show Monday to Friday. You get it first, you get it live or on demand. And the really important thing about Substack, why I'm always talking about it, is it's a free speech platform. It protects me from big tech cancellation. It protects me from lawfare. And I would so appreciate your support. www.outspoken.live.
Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source, and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.